Welcome. I wanted to take a look at what's happening in the oil markets on this Monday. As we heard over the weekend, OPEC Plus have agreed to cut a further more than 1 million barrels off the total amount that they'd already put in place, 2 million barrels up until the end of this year. And that has meant that we've got a constriction of supply, which now means that the oil price has gone up and it's affected oil companies disproportionately to the rest of the market. Let's take a look at where we are in terms of the Brent crude figure first of all, and you can see we're pushing right to the top of the candle at the moment, and we're at the highest we've been since the 7th of March this year. We've not really broken any major levels. We've gone up through a couple of moving averages, but this spike up is quite a long way from where we closed out Friday's session, and that was always going to give a boost to some of these oil companies. I thought I'd take a look first of all at the FTSE 350 Oil and Gas Producers Index. Now this has got some really big players in it, like BP and Shell, which I'll take a look at them in a moment. We're at the highest there since the 14th of March. So this has been the benefit that we have seen in this market, and the FTSE 100 as well benefited. And one of the better performers across the European markets today, the FTSE is better than the German DAX, the French CAC 40. Both have been flirting with zero right the way throughout the day, but we've seen a firm gain on this market because of these oil companies, and it's the big ones that have really benefited most. We got BP up almost 5% in today's session. We're off the highs, but at levels they're not seen since the 13th of March, and the same sort of thing for Shell. My concern is that most of the upside has now been done, and we've got to see some further break higher for oil itself in order to see further gains in some of these companies. But it's not just the big ones, it's also some of the mid-cap companies as well. Tullo Oil is doing particularly well. That stock is up 6.3% today, and that too is at levels not seen since what here is the 13th of March. But as I said, for the oil price to continue to move higher, I'd want to see some further expectations. We've got increased demand coming through. The problem is with a higher oil price, it raises the prospect of inflation, and as a result of that, we could well see some of these central banks continue to raise interest rates beyond what the markets are now pricing in, and that is going to be negative for these markets. Tomorrow we've got the Reserve Bank of Australia, that's Tuesday. We'll be covering that on the early morning call to see just what's going on there. Markets now anticipating a 25 basis point rise. Same for the Reserve Bank of New Zealand in a couple of days' time on Wednesday morning, and a guess there is that we'll see further evidence that the central banks still haven't really finished trying to get over this problem about inflation.